43 intentions pertaining to food. The Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said the intention of a believer is greater than his action. To make wuzu before and at the time of consumption of food. Unlike the wuzu for salah, the wuzu for eating is only to wash hands, mouth and to gargle. To consume food, to gain strength, to worship, to recite Holy Quran, to serve parents, seek to acquire religious knowledge, ilm-ud-deen, travel in a Madani Kafila in order to learn the Sunnah, the prophetic ways, to participate in the Ilaqai Dora Barai Neki Ki Dawat, the tour to call people towards righteousness, to reflect on the matters of the hereafter, and to seek halal sources of sustenance. Note that these former intentions can only be beneficial if one consumes less than their appetite. Conversely, eating excessively only engenders laziness towards worship, causes inclination towards sin, and results in stomach ailments and disorders. You should try to eat in the following manners: to sit on the floor, to sit on a dining mat, according to Sunnah, overlay parda mein parda, with the kurta or the shawl, sit according to the Sunnah, recite Bismillah and other du'as, prior to and at eating food. Eat with 3 fingers, eat small morsels, i.e. small quantity of food with each bite. Properly chew the food before swallowing. Recite Ya Wajdu with every bite, or recite Bismillah and Ya Wajdu prior to the consumption of every bite, and Alhamdulillah at the end. Pick up and eat the grains of food that may fall onto the dining mat. To break the bread over your plate so that every crumb falls into the plate. Lick clean so that no particles of food remain on the bones and spices like cinnamon and cloves before throwing them away. Eat less than the appetite. Afterwards wipe the plate clean by the means of fingers to gather the food particles on your finger, and then lick the finger clean with the intention to practice upon the Sunnah. Lick the fingers clean 3 times with the same intention to follow the Sunnah. Clean the plate. Pour water into the plate so that you can easily remove the particles of food that have clung to the plate, and drink from it to earn the reward of freeing a slave. Not to get up from the dining mat until it is picked up. This is also Sunnah. Recite the traditional dua, supplications after eating. This includes the recitation of durood before and after. Use the toothpick after eating. More intentions related to collectively consuming food. To not begin eating before a scholar or an elder, if they are present on the dining mat. To seek the blessings from the company of Muslims. To please others by offering them the various items from the cuisine to eat or drink. Remember that it is disrespectful to place food in other people's plate without their permission. Perhaps at that moment they do not desire the edibles that you put into their plate. To reap the reward of the sawab of sadaqah, charity, by smiling upon others. To recite the dua upon observing somebody smile. Smile and say, may Allah Azza wa Jal always keep you smiling. To inform others of the various intentions that should be rendered pertaining to food. To inform others of the various sunnah to be observed during meal times. To recite the dua supplication prior to eating in an audible tone so that others can repeat after. To recite the dua supplication after eating in an audible tone so that others can repeat after. To give usar, the fancy portions, more pleasing to one's taste, to others, and to guard themselves from greed. The Master of Medina, the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, has stated that whosoever gives to others things that he needs for himself, Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive that person. Gift others toothpick so that they may clean their teeth. Gift others a rubber band so that they may bind the 2 fingers not used to eat and make a habit of eating with 3 fingers. Recite Ya Wajidu in an audible tone prior to the consumption of every bite so that others can be reminded to do the same. What follows is the summary of a Pakistani Islamic brother's sworn statement. I started work in a garment factory in Muscat, the capital. In 1992, an Islamic brother associated with Dawat-e-Islami joined our factory as a laborer. As a result of his infradi koshish, individual effort, Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, I began to pray my salah. The environment in the factory wasn't any good at all. In just our department, there were about 8 or 9 cassette players, and songs were played all the time in several different languages. Urdu, Punjabi, Pashto, Hindi, Bengali, etc., with the volume always turned high. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, due to the blessings of the company of this Ashiq-e-Rasul, I had begun to hate music. So we both decided that we would buy Sunnah-inspired cassettes distributed by Maktabatul Madina and play them in the factory. In the beginning, we faced objections and criticism, but we didn't give up. And Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, I began to see the blessing of these Sunnah-inspired speeches. The speeches that inspired me the most were the first night in the grave, Colors of the World, Unfortunate Groom, The Talking Grave, and The Three Graves, which are all in Urdu. You can buy these recorded speeches from bookstores called Maktabatul Madina in your own countries. I began to contemplate about the afterlife and hate sins. The speeches inspired a few others as well as who began to approach the movement. The Ashiq-e-Rasul, who had created this Madani transformation inside my heart, left his job and returned to Pakistan. I had 90 Sunnah-inspired cassettes sent over from Pakistan. To begin with, there were only 50 or 60 men in the factory who would pray the Salah. But as a result of listening to these speeches, Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, the number had increased to somewhere between 200 and 250. We contributed to buying an expensive 400-watt speaker that we fixed to the wall so that we could listen to the speeches with ease. We decided that we would listen to the Quran recitation from 7 to 8 in the morning, poetry in praise of our dear Master Sallallahu Ta'ala Alayhi Wa Sallam from 8 to 9, and then a Sunnah-filled speech from 9 to 10. Slowly and gradually, we formed a collection of 500 cassettes. Apart from me, 5 other Islamic brothers had decided to join Dawat-e-Islami. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, we began a masjid dars, and then slowly and gradually we started a Sunnah-inspired weekly ijtima in our factory, which would be attended by approximately 250 Islamic brothers. Then we started a Madrasatul Madina for adults. Islamic brothers within the factory began to practice the Sunnah. Several of them adopted the blessed Sunnah of growing a beard, a symbol of love for our beloved Madani Prophet Rasulullah Sallallahu Ta'ala Alayhi Wa Sallam. 20 to 25 Islamic brothers began to wear the blessed turban. Our manager used to object to us listening to the cassettes at first, but the sound of the speeches vibrated in his ears again, and eventually he too was influenced and began to pray his salah. He also grew a fist-long beard. The Islamic brother further says, I have returned to Pakistan at the moment. I am trying to serve the Sunnah as a servant, a Nigran of the Mushawarat of the division of Karachi. Sunnah-inspired cassettes sold by Maktabatul Madina brought an enormous change in my life. And that is why I wish every Islamic brother and Islamic sister who will listen to at least one Sunnah-inspired speech or Madani Muzakara, answers and questions every single day, inshallah Azza wa Jal, this will bring huge blessings in both worlds. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam is taught and learnt in the Madani environment of Dawat-e-Islami, an international non-political propagational movement of Quran and Sunnah. The weekly ijtima in Karachi, Pakistan takes place every Thursday after Salatul Maghrib in Faizan-e-Madina, in Mahalla Sodagaran, Old Sabzi Mandi. It is a Madani request that you participate in this ijtima and try and spend the night in Faizan-e-Madina and make it a habit to travel with the lovers of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam on the Madani Kafle, and whilst doing Fikr-e-Madina, to fill in your Madani Inamat card daily and to hand it into your area Zimadar within the first 10 days of the new Islamic month. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, with the blessing of this, we will start acting upon the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. We will have hatred for sins and we will safeguard our Iman. Every Islamic brother should make the intention that I must try to rectify myself and the people of the whole world. Inshallah Azza wa Jal. To rectify ourselves, we will act upon the Madani Inamat, and to rectify the people of the whole world, we will travel in the Madani Kafile. Inshallah Azza wa Jal.